January 20th, 2025, the day Donald J. Trump reclaimed the White House and the world braced itself again. The Constitution. No sooner had Trump's hand lifted from the Bible than the ink started drawing on a flurry of executive orders. But this term was different. This time, Trump knew exactly what and who he was going after. The inspectors general fired, independent oversight canceled like a bad Netflix show. Entire federal agencies neutered and gutted. And being woke made you a sniper target, rewarding his biggest investor. Trump handed billionaire Elon Musk the responsibility to gut federal agencies to prevent waste. Your Social Security might be at risk, but at least fraud is not happening, right? Meanwhile, the Justice Department, now mostly used to chase political enemies and praise loyal sheriffs. As we said, Trump's 2.0 vision is planned. He declared an emergency at the Mexico-American border. Birthright citizenship was revoked. Loyalists were asked to protect national security secrets and global aid. Preventing starvation was pulled back. And of course, the U.S. once again backed out of the Paris Climate Treaty because it's climate change. Even real. As if reshaping the U.S. weren't enough, Trump turned his gaze outward, way outward. Within weeks, rumors swirled that he had once again floated the idea of buying Greenland. This time, if Denmark refused, he'd just take it, and not just Greenland. The Panama Canal was back on the wish list, along with Trump's old favorite. Why not annex Canada? They've got oil. They speak English. It's basically Michigan North. If threatening sovereignty wasn't enough, he sat with Israeli PM Netanyahu and remarked how Gaza had become a hellhole. A devastated wasteland. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down there living under a fallen concrete. That's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of their beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it. World leaders responded with confusion, horror, and disbelief. Diplomacy is officially dead. Long live real estate deals. Next came the healing phase, which in true Trump fashion meant pardons, lots of them. A mass release of January 6th. Rioters flooded the news cycle. Violent offenders pardoned conspiracy theorists with zip ties and Confederate flags. Pardon a guy who stole Nancy Pelosi's lectern and posted it on eBay. Pardon, of course, they've served years in jail. They should not have served, excuse me, and they've served 2 years in jail. And murderers don't even go to jail in this country. And we had 1,500. We have 16 under review. As you know, we commuted about 16 of them because it looks like they could have done things that were not acceptable for a full pardon. But these people have served years of jail, but their lives have been ruined. That America in America. Listen to me for a second. Stop interrupting. They served years in jail. And if you look at the American public is tired of it. I thought their sentences were ridiculous and excessive. One of the guys took down a flag that was an anti-American flag, and he was given years in jail. I don't know the exact number, but he was given many years in jail that I thought it was very excessive. These are people that actually love our country. So we thought a part would be appropriate. Yeah, this wasn't justice. This was a reality show finale. And the message was clear. If you broke the law for Trump, Trump had your back. If there was one thing Trump didn't forget from his first term, it was how to pick a fight, especially with American institutions. Within weeks, universities were under attack, especially those that protested for Palestine. Fund cuts, an unprecedented government overreach, and ICE agents in a Gestapo-inspired style detaining international students who spoke against Israeli war crimes. But nothing was targeted as harshly as diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Illegal discrimination seems to be back in fashion. Museums, libraries, media outlets, law firms that in '01 has been safe from being labeled a threat to the MAGA vision. And when disaster struck, Trump had a culprit ready: a major airline crash to work to fly. A train derailment, dry hiring, even a hurricane was somehow the Democrats' fault. If they weren't so busy teaching pronouns, maybe they'd have fixed the brakes. The world even got to witness a shouting match live stream from inside the Oval Office when Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss efforts to stop the war. That we're not in a good position. We don't have the cards right now with us. You start having campaigns hard right now. You guys' breath, you're gambling with millions of people. Think you're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country. This country, your country is in big trouble that I know you're not winning. You're not winning this fight. You have a damn good chance of coming out. Okay, because turning to Europe in a separate event, Trump offered blunt remarks about the EU. But I love the countries of Europe. I love all countries for actually all different. But the European Union has been. It was formed in order to scrutinize it. I mean, look, let's be honest. The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it. But now I'm president. Theatrics aside, it became painfully clear Trump's foreign policy was no longer subtle or even strategic or even, well, diplomatic. And then came the economics chapter titled Tariffs, Trade Wars, and Utter Confusion. Trump launched a global trade war on April 2nd, 2025, that left economists begging for mercy. China, the EU, Canada allies, and adversaries were hit with crushing tariffs. Trump declared it a national holiday, calling it the day American industry was apparently being reborn. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025, will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. Going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy. Markets tanked. Manufacturing stalled. Inflation soared. But Trump was thrilled. It's working beautifully. We're resetting the table. Which table? No one really knew, but it was being reset, possibly flipped. You get a tariff. You get a tariff. Even you with a population of 0 get a tariff. We'll see what happens with China. We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They're grouped so beyond nobody how people stood for it. Sitting in my position is not even believable. And we're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did. And all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table. If anyone thought that Trump will not seek vengeance on the media that were not on his side, think again. He was back on every platform, every day, calling out enemies real and imagined, used in a strategic pivot from traditional media. Trump has increasingly turned to right-wing influencers to amplify his message, kicking established outlets like the Associated Press out of the White House. Trump's campaign also engaged with a range of conservative personalities, including podcasters and social media influencers, to reach younger, predominantly male audiences. Notable figures such as Aiden Ross, Logan, Paul, and Joe Rogan have hosted the president, providing a platform that bypasses traditional journalistic scrutiny. Donald Trump has the lowest 100-day job approval rating of any president in the past 8 years. 1 week after his inauguration, Trump's approval rating peaked at 52% today. His average approval mark has slid to 44%, with both MAGA supporters and Republicans doubting the directions his administration has taken. So here we are, 100 days and the country's dizzy. The world's watching, and Trump, he's just getting warmed up. So what's next? A moon base, a war on Canada's healthcare system, nationalized TikTok influences. I'm getting teary-eyed, but I don't want you to say Trump broke down and said, "Hey, look at the shoreline. Look at that." Well, this is America. This is not a drill. This is not a parody. This is the presidency, Trump style. But questions with very real consequences still loom large. Will Trump be able to bring the Ukraine war to end? Will the trade wars continue? And will Trump follow due process and deportations? Only time will tell. For now, stay tuned as more unprecedented presidential shenanigans unfold.